Are you somebody that is afraid of turning a specific age range? Are you curious about shadow work, inner child healing, overcoming trauma, or you're simply afraid of turning 30 this year? So continue watching because this video is for you. This specific week, I turned 31. And I'm so happy Aquarius season. I am so happy. I love Aquarius season. I thrive in it, and it's my season. It's my birthday season. Hello. But anyways, last year was the first year of my 30s, and I can say I learned so much about myself. I learned of overcoming trauma, stabilizing my mental health, regulating my central nervous system, setting boundaries, speaking my truth. When you turn 30, from my experience, it was as if I had another spiritual awakening, even though I have had plenty of them. This is probably like my 4th or 5th one in the past 15 years. The obvious one is that I am no longer a young adult anymore. I am a full-grown adult. My 20s was a mess. It was as if I was living in a drama film. The only year I could say that was really good in my 20s was 2013, which I turned 20, and 2019 when I turned 27. Oftentimes, I was prone to escapism, so yes, I experimented on things that I shouldn't have. I was stressing about something about my personal life, especially in relationships. Many friends were coming and going, as well as job. I turned back on the most important thing in my life, and that was my inner child. I also developed a very black and white mentality, so that really distorted the perception of my reality. And oftentimes I was on autopilot. Turning 30, I learned so much because it was the first year that I can truly say that I was truly one in solitude. I did a lot of inner work, shadow work, reflecting and being very introspective, anxiety, depression, CPTSD, PCOS. It all took a hold in my life. It was controlling me for a very long time. However, I can finally say that it no longer takes a hold of my life. And I am truly in the present, and that it feels so good. I got hired on a new job, so I'm very thankful for that. I'm gonna start this week, so we'll see how things go and how things turn out. I traveled to outside the country, which was Mexico and El Salvador. So if you want to check out those vlogs, I will put them on the description box below. However, this year, I am preparing myself for the next chapter of my life. I am celebrating my birthday with my friends and family this month. I tend to celebrate all month long, but on my birthday, I particularly spent most of the time with my family. I will upload a birthday vlog probably by the end of the month, so just stay tuned for that. I thought I was going to get very sad and start crying because I do cry and I do get sad on my birthday. However, that didn't happen because I think I just was very introspective. I was very deep in my brain these past couple months, especially after I got COVID. I was just really happy, and I think it's because I'm just grateful to be alive, and I'm grateful to finally have gratitude that I'm in the present moment and I still have the people that I love and care about in my life, and they're still alive, and that's what matters to me the most. However, these past couple years, it was a existential crisis for sure. Growing up the way I did, I am a first-generation Latina, so my family has a collectivist mindset. It's no longer as bad as it used to be growing up, but I'm glad that I did the therapy that I did last year because now I'm able to communicate with my family a lot better. I do prioritize family a lot. Even my friends are an extension of my family. And also I love love, and I believe in unconditional love. So I choose love over anything. Anything in the world, I love love. And I'm grateful to experience that. My 20s was solely focused on partying, the Gothic scene, relationships, vanity. Yet I had such a low self-esteem. I also did a lot of healing work, shadow work. Yet I was also so naive and gullible, and I tried to see the best in people. But instead of seeing the red flags and seeing them who they are as a person, a lot of people came in and out of my life, so as jobs. And I also had a shopping problem and an eating problem too, which led to PCOS. But that is another story for another day. I also read a lot, studied psychology, became more involved in my interests as I was approaching 30. However, that was in my 20s. That's what I prioritized in my 20s. Now that I'm in my 30s, it's so refreshing to be in my 30s. I have heard from many women that your 30s are the best years of your life, and that I can solely stand it. That's a fact. Granted, a big chunk of of last year, I was mourning for my 30s. I was mourning for like the choices I made, what I could have done better, and also that I am no longer a young adult anymore. And unfortunately, society doesn't treat women after turning 25 so well. You also start to realize that health is truly wealth. Without being healthy, nourishing your body, you truly cannot enjoy your life. Shifting my mindset from using food as energy, food as medicine, instead of eating food as a coping mechanism. Money comes and goes, but time does not. Aside from health, I value time, because time is something you can never get back. Do not ruin your credit, because credit leads to financial freedom, and studying financial literacy for my long-term plans. And anybody who is in their 20s right now, whatever you do, this is specifically for women. Do not focus and put your eggs in one basket. And that egg in one basket, I mean by relationships. Focus on yourself. And if you're in a relationship, don't put your whole life on the line for a guy. It's not worth it, especially if they aren't reciprocating the same energy you're putting in that relationship. Make mistakes, grow from them. If something's not meant for you, and move on. Some things just last for a season, a chapter, or lifelong. And usually the things that do last for a long time are much more valuable in your life. Trivial things. The little things are truly important. Ask yourself more questions. Learn to be your own best friend. Take yourself out to dinner. Buy yourself flowers. Write yourself love letters. Failure is not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. It means you tried something and it didn't work. You can move on and redirect your path to whatever you want it to be. Rejection is redirection. People who live in a low vibrational state or mindset is a reflection of their own reality. Do not blame yourself. Don't blame yourself on that. If you don't like something about yourself, you can always change it. This is a really tough lesson I had to learn, but nobody owes you anything. And the world can be very cruel, but you can always choose to walk away of things that do not serve you, even though it could be very difficult. And lastly, always listen to your intuition. You're young, go make mistakes, but also learn from them. You don't have to figure it all out, and that's okay. If you are a sensitive soul with a heart of gold, but you feel like you're a burden, you're not. Honor that shit. This world needs more of you. Kindness, authenticity, compassion, empathy, and self-love is a form of rebellion, and the world needs more of you, especially in the state of the world that we live in. Your inner child is alive, even when you don't think it is, but it is. Especially, for example, if you're dealing with stressful situation or you're feeling triggered by a statement, that is when your inner child is reacting. That's why sometimes certain behaviors can come off as childish or emotionally immature. But the more you're able to observe when your inner child is acting out, your life does get easier. So, I have been single for 2 years, and people don't know this too, but I'm gonna say it now. I'm actually celibate. I've been celibate for about 1.5 years. I am not a serial dater. I actually prefer monogamy, and I actually enjoy being single. I have been in and out of relationships for the most part of my 20s, and most of my stress truly came from my relationships. They were very intense, and I didn't choose the best partners neither. I always wanted to work on myself, but I just didn't know how. And after the pandemic, I tried dating, but I kept attracting the same person over and over and over again. I kept attracting a lot of men who had a very negative relationship with alcohol. The last person I dated turned out to be a high-functioning alcoholic. And shortly after 3 months of dating, I just never looked back, and I just said, you know what, enough is enough. I'm just gonna focus on myself. I knew I had issues with codependency, and I think that's why I kept attracting the same kind of person for that reason. And even though I was not an alcoholic, I rarely drink, but it's always when I'm in relationships I tend to drink a little bit more. And that's another reason why I don't go out to nightclubs anymore, because I just don't want to be around alcoholics. And I needed to heal this because dating alcoholics was very traumatizing. And unfortunately, being in an alternative lifestyle, not many men have a good relationship with alcohol. I want to be as far as away from those kinds of people. And unfortunately, I hate to be stereotypical, but a lot of men do not have a good relationship with themselves, especially when they're in the alternative scene. And they tend to suffer a lot of alcohol abuse. It's something I don't want in my life because I do not want to be dragged down. I turned 31. I am still gonna try to make another attempt on trying to date people, even possibly outside of the alternative scene, just to try dating. But I still, I am a demisexual, so it kind of get hard for me. But I just want to get to know people and see what it's all about. So I'm gonna try to do my best to just take things slow. All I do know, what I do desire, is to be in a loving, committed, stable, and secure relationship. Actually take the time to get to know the person without rushing anything. I still consider myself a romantic, so I love romance. I love being in love. I love the act of being vulnerable. I love intimacy. But I just don't want to express that with the wrong person anymore or give that so freely. So now I'm very more cautious with my love life. But that's okay, you know, because maybe if the right... So just the idea of spending your life and sharing a life with somebody and truly love somebody for who they are and grow with them, that's a beautiful thing. And true love is like the rarest thing, as corny as that sounds. It's a rare thing, and even if I don't attain that in this lifetime, I'll be okay because I gave that to myself. And in the meantime, that's what I'm doing. I'm enjoying my life, giving the love that I never gave myself before, romanticizing my life with harmony, with love, with flowers, with music, with compassion and with empathy, experiences, intellect, and wisdom. Simply just living. And if love never comes around, I'll be okay with that too. questions about my life, my dating life, but also about children. And here's my stance to it. Society puts so much pressure on women to have kids, especially now more than ever, since we don't really have control of our bodily autonomy anymore. I do not regret my choice of not having kids. I love waking up whenever I want. Hearing the screams of children gives me anxiety. Dysregulates my emotions so much. Maybe because I just am naturally a nurturing person, so when I don't know exactly what a child needs, it kind of dysregulates me a lot. And if you, for example, want kids, that's great. Often, many times, people don't respect people who say that they don't want children. I do not know why. It's like, children are expensive. Being a mother is such an important job. Society tends to lack appreciation of it, but it truly is important. You are taking care of a human being. A human being. Just because they're little, they're eventually gonna grow up to being their own selves. And I'm not ready for a commitment like that. I don't think I ever will. However, I do respect mothers. I respect single mothers. I respect all kinds of mothers. But just having that responsibility is just a lot more than I can handle. Will I ever change my mind? Maybe. But in the meantime, I'm just enjoying my freedom and living my life for myself for the first time. I want to finish this video by saying a couple of things. Don't be afraid of aging. Enjoy the process. Aging is a beautiful thing to experience. Life is so precious. Don't take it for granted. There's so many ways to experience life to the fullest. Stop waiting around for others. Just do the goddamn project, or go buy that plane ticket to wherever you want to go. Learn to love yourself. Practice gratitude. Drink water. We are just a little soul having a human experience. Embrace it.